Hi guys, hello, Merry Meet everybody. It's MicheleMarieDalene. It is the 19th of the month of July. It's one of the few days that is cool enough in the daytime that we can get some quick video in. I wanted to talk and answer a couple questions that keep coming up on multiple channels. Now, the first question is the way we do video and why we do video the way we do. Now, when I was in R11H30's channel, one of the questions that came up is, why is the video, I don't know if he was talking about his channel or my channel, so old school? Well, in the case of R11H30, it is old school for the same reason it's old school on my channel, and that is because neither R11H30 is heavily into advanced video production. The same is true here, okay? It doesn't mean he doesn't know how to hold a camera or anything. Of course he does. But some people, and I'm certainly not an exception to this, are not really that good with really advanced stuff. They have a hard time with it. So in the case of R11H30, he uses his old school video skills because that's what he's familiar with and that's what he's good at. The second question that sometimes comes up is, why do you shoot in standard definition? And why do you use PAL instead of NTSC? Well, I shoot in standard definition because I can't upload in high definition that well, and I can't make things in high definition on my computers because they're too old. So instead of trying to upload a video that is going to be even more subpar, I chose to use the best that I could. The reason I chose PAL over the NTSC format is for the same reason I just mentioned. It's got a better picture. It's 720 by 576. It's 25 frames per second. Okay? And for what I do, that's fine. I don't need to go with super high definition video. It's just not a requirement. Next question is, when you're doing videos on the porch, how do you do them on the porch? Well, I was going to finish charging my phone, but I figured I'd show you this. And then we'll talk about this. This is the stand we use on the porch. Now, this is a homemade thing. You can see that. I just recently put rubber feet on the bottom. And this is a CCTV camera bracket, and it's mounted to a bunch of DVD coasters that basically would have been thrown in the garbage. It's filled with plaster Paris to give it some weight, not too excessively heavy. And this is the bracket that my iPhone 4S sits in, like this. Unfortunately, with the Moffitt's juice back in the back, it's kind of sticks out a little bit, so it's not quite flat, but it's still pretty good, and I can still adjust it. Like if I want to do a big cloud demo, I can put the phone like this, straight down, so that you can see if I'm doing something close up or CCTV or something like that. It's a homemade bracket, and it works pretty good. Why do you use it? Sounds like sometimes like you're yelling in the video. Well, that's a great question, because with my hearing loss, sometimes I don't even know I'm yelling. I just don't notice it. Do you like how your channel's going? Yes, I do. Do you think the channel will be any better in the future? Yes, I do. Next question that comes up a lot, and I don't think our 11H user really heard me explain it better. I'm going to try to explain it right now. What is it about your apartment that's so unique electrically? Well, from a modern perspective, talking about since the beginning of the 21st century, most everyone is used to having wall switches in a bathroom. My bathroom, as was a lot of earlier homes in the United States, did not have wall switches in the bathroom because of the fact that there was concerns of electrocution and water. The same is true under the British electrical standards as well. Because of where the light fixture is in the bathroom and it's near the top, the wall switch would have to be on the outside of the bathroom to meet British electrical code because it's too close to a water tap. Okay, now, is your apartment different also because it runs on 220? No, it doesn't yet. I say yet because I have some projects that I'm working on. They're not high priority ones, so don't give me expecting me to give you a when date. One of the things is I plan to set up a proper step-up transformer to convert our split phase 120-240 from our mains outlet of our cooker and connect it into a 5 kVA transformer. That would be my ideal size, but that's way heavier than I can carry. So I probably might just go for 1 kVA for reasons of showing you how it's done. On the input side, it would be wired per U.S. code. On the output side, it will be wired per British code, as well as also meet European electrical code. So it's going to be a kind of a crossover, if you will. On the U.S. side, it will have the proper 50 amp U.S. electric range connector. On the British side, it'll have your standard British BS 13A 13 amp sockets, so that we would be able to plug in British appliances. With the one twist would be, of course, is the line frequency would still be at 60 cycles per second, so it's not going to work for clocks or any motor that or anything that depends on mains frequency timing. It's just going to provide the voltage and the proper split phase to neutral connection. So I'll take care of that. I'll draw that when we get close to that project. It's not going to be for a few months at the very earliest. It's pretty low priority, but I'm definitely thinking about it. Why do you use the metric system instead of imperial measurements? We live in a global community, and globally we have all agreed on that the metric system is the best one that is understood among all countries. There's really no reason to stick with such an antiquated imperial measurement system. It's old, it's crap, it's not good. However, Louis Russell pointed out one thing that might interest you. He said the one of the problem is when you talk about Fahrenheit versus Celsius, you realize that Fahrenheit is a little more precise because digital thermostats, like on air conditioners and some heaters, don't go in half degrees. So if I said 20.5, that would be like 69 degrees. Well, if you ever use an electric thermostat that has digital controls, You can go, say, from 20 to 21, but that's not really exact. It's like 2 degrees different Fahrenheit. So that's where one thing with Fahrenheit may have an advantage. But seriously, the international standards were set up as agreed because it makes talking about things such as weight, mass, density, temperature. There was even a metric time standard, which kind of never really took off. Okay, the French actually came up with that, but they never really took off, even in France. So metric time is not discussed. It's just using the standard base 60 time. So at least I don't have to worry about converting things like 100-second units to 10-hour time to 10-day time. Don't have to worry about that. Thank God. That would be a lot of work. Because it definitely would confuse me with the calendars. But the most important thing is that everything we should be using the international standards, especially with YouTube production, is we do have audiences all over the world. It would be very easy if we all use one format instead of using 2 or 3 or 4 different temperatures and weight and length and mass systems. So that's the reasons I still stick with the metric system. Besides, I'm so used to using metric anyway in my everyday life, it doesn't really matter to me. Next question was, does your permanent really smell bad? No, actually it does not. Does it smell like cat pee? It can. Do you still got cat hair problems with the rugs? Yes, we got cat hair problems with the rugs, definitely. I have 3 cats and they shed. So I'm constantly trying to clean up the rugs to make them look at the best I can. What's your long-term future for your channel? My channel's goal is to continue to promote and educate and to inspire other people with multiple disabilities to do better things with their lives. I want to see more people get onto YouTube and being able to be who they are and express their loves and their passions. And that's, to me, is important. Why do you tell so much of your life story on the internet? Because the National Security Agency already knows my life story, and so does the CIA, the FBI, and the Russian FSB and other illegal groups, intelligence groups, already have everything about me on the internet. Why not let them have it all? That way there's no bullshit and there's no saying, I didn't say that. I can go back to my own video and say, oh yes, I did say that. Oh, I had a reason for saying that. That's the reason why. It's not because I'm afraid that people are going to say I'm full of baloney. It's because I want them to know why I do the things I do. How does our 11H30 going to be able to take all of the data and content you have produced and make it into a coherent documentary? From what I heard from his channel last night, he's got a lot of work to do. There is a lot of material. He may not be able to come through and cover every piece of documentation, but I'm sure he'll do it. Can I ask a few now? Sure. Okay. My next question for Michele is, why do people find me and her situation amusing? Well, I don't think they find it amusing. I'll say it to you, I think that they find it mind-blowing, if anything, because it is so unusual. Me and you take it for granted, but for so many people in this world, as you may know from us not explaining it, people that have 2 souls are very rare. There are not too many people out there with 2 souls. Right. And I have a friend who is also a clairvoyant who has the ability to see Lumi's soul and my soul. Her name is Angeles Creososis. That's what she calls herself. Now, Angeles can see Lumi. So, she can see right into Lumi. Yes, she can. She can see how the brain is designed, how it's set up. Right. I haven't heard from Angeles in a long time. That doesn't mean that she's not important. She's actually very important. One of the other things is that being two-souled is people, find it amazing. Okay, let's answer the next question. I'm coming up with these questions as we go. Okay. Are we making this up? No. I'm not making this up. You're not making this up. Why do people think we are? Because of the same reason I already said earlier, people think it's unusual. They're not used to it. Can you really cool a pizza by putting your hands over it? Seems to be working when I do it. When I can cool pizza without even physically touching it or blowing on it. And I'm talking about the whole pizza pan, not just a piece of pizza. I can do that too. But yes, I'm gonna say the word "I seem" because until we have empirical evidence, it's gonna be very hard to say I am. Okay, so you're willing to admit that there's some doubt. Yes. Okay. Next question. Do you love being in North American snuggling? Yes. Do you love winter? Yes. Are you looking forward to this year, since we have had over 20 days with no sunspots, and scientists believe that this year is going to be colder and more extreme than last year? I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also dreading it. And I'm going to explain why I'm looking forward to it. I love it cold. Okay, today we're doing a video in here in the studio because it's not too bad. But it is still warm. You don't have the fan on. I don't have the fan on. Right. But because of the fact that, it's going to make it harder for crops, farmers are already seeing significant damage to their crops right now. And that's, of course, is concerning them. Because their crops are... a lot of farmers are seeing a huge amount of damage to their crops. So there may not be enough food for everybody in the world to eat. And it's certainly not going to be as inexpensive as it has been. The prices at the markets are going to go up quite a bit. Do you think that as the North American snuggling, you have a responsibility to educate and to share the information on how to best make use of what resources are available? Yes. Okay. Do you think the Discord server is, in some ways, a better place to advocate for the things that we see around us, or do you think maybe Discord may be the worst place? Right now, I'd say that Discord is probably the best because one reason, which is that we did try to bring it up on our 11H30 show last night. Unfortunately, we kind of got cut off. Here's this. As I mentioned in another live stream called Let's Talk, I think I brought this up on Tuesday. There's an issue with the YouTube notification systems. What's happening is I'm only getting some of my notifications. Not any of them are the ones that people responding to my comments or whatever like that. I'm not getting those notifications on my desktop or in my emails. And it's supposed to go on in both cases. I am getting some of them on my Android and iOS devices, the Studio app. But any comments I respond to on other channels, I'm not getting them. Okay? So that means that if I respond to a comment on another channel, I'm not going to see if you reply to my comment. I might see your likes and dislikes, but I won't see your response in my email notifications, even though I clicked on that bell for that channel. That is so stupid. Oh shit! That is so stupid. Okay. do you think the phones are really working out for the live streams? Right now, I would say the phones are not really working out as well as I'd like them to work out. Because I think that the phones are bringing in a lot more low quality content that I'm looking for. Do you think your hearing is affecting your way you answer the phone? Yes. Do you think your hearing affects the way you hear things in Discord? Yes. Okay, what about your eyesight? My eyes are okay. They're not fantabulous, but they are holding their own for the time being. Okay. So, it sounds like a lot of content that needs to be addressed that isn't really being addressed. Well, yeah, okay. Next question is, what's your future plans for the studio for this year and say in maybe about 2 years from now? In other words, short-term versus long-term goals. Well, the short-term goal is I want to hit 1,000 subscribers, ideally by the end of December, okay? And the 240,000 minutes per year viewing, so I can reapply to get back on the YouTube Partner Program so that I can get the things like AdSense back, so we can actually get some advertising to support the channel. Okay, next question is advertising. How do you think it's working out with Tunnel Bear as an affiliate for Tunnel Bear? I think as an affiliate, I think Tunnel Bear kind of knew this, that my channel is not exactly a high traffic channel. I am paid by commission on so many people I bring into Tunnel Bear. I get a certain amount of commission. So I don't really get anybody yet because not too many people have signed up for Tunnel Bear. Nobody signed up on my account, but that doesn't mean, except for me. But I didn't register myself as I clicked on my own account to register because that would have been kind of unethical. I probably could have, but I don't think I'm going to get paid a commission for just one click. I think I'm going to get paid commission like that if I get like 10, 20 clicks. So, in short, I think it's going to take a while before we actually start earning money with Tunnel Bear. Do you use Tunnel Bear? Yes. Does it work? Yes. Alright, now, what do you think about the hardware part of the situation with the channel? Are we going to switch to go to high definition and digital video, or are we going to stick with analog? In other words, you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I do, yeah. I would think that since we have right now so much invested in analog, I probably will stick with mostly analog, except for the last mile, so to speak, because we already have the cameras, we already have the microphones, and there's just no reason to change out the hardware yet. Besides that, please understand, folks, that with the fact is that my home internet service provider cannot do any better than 720p uploads, and that's really pushing it with Frontier. It won't be any better than 720p no matter what. They default to 30 frames per second. If you want to use the European 720p at 25 frames per second, you can do that too. But really, seriously, I don't see it feasible to do that because we do Discord on top of that too. So, doing standard definition still leaves us enough bandwidth for reading the chats and looking at the chats in Discord as well as listening to the conversations on Discord. So I don't think we're going to be going any better right now than 720 by 576 at 25 frames per second. So that's going to probably stay the same for a while. As far as, are we ever going to go with a newer iMac? Is on my list. Now, originally, I was offered from another person an iMac, but then he reneged on the deal, and so we're going to stick with our original plan, which is to go buy a second-hand 2011 iMac on eBay when I get a renter's rebate this year, which is I'm theoretically supposed to get up to the maximum $700. However, I was already told up front that depending on the state of Connecticut's general legislature, we may get less. So it would be nice if we get the full 700, but we may not get the full 700. The max I'm looking at will cost me about $350 to $450, so that's a lot less expensive. Okay. What about new lights? New lighting? There is definitely reason to upgrade the lighting in the studio because of heat production. Now, right now we don't have the lights on, but if we did, these lights, each bulb draws 300 watts of incandescent hot heat. And in the summertime, that is absolutely positively oppressive. So there is a definite desire to upgrade to LED fixtures for the studio. Which brings another question up. Is that the reason why you wanted to upgrade the wiring, at least in part, up to 240 for the LED lights? I wouldn't so much for the LEDs because they don't use as much current as the incandescents do. Each incandescent bulb is 300 watts each, and it's about 5,600 lumens. So that's like 11,200 lumens when the bulbs are new, and that makes a lot of heat for the two bulbs. With the LED fixtures, we can use like 30 to 60 watt units panels. And they can be placed in such a way they run on 12 volts, for example, and we can have them actually running off a battery system so that if we had a small solar panel, we could keep our lights running off independent of the grid. Okay, so in other words, that's another idea. That's another idea. That's definitely... Okay, so that's for the near future. What about the long-term future? A long-term future is I want to get a better place to live. I really, really think it's time to consider moving on. This apartment is, I've been here for 12 years. It's certainly been a very challenging environment. We've seen a lot of things happen here. But I think more and more it is time to consider that I need more space and maybe eventually hire a crew. At least one more person, maybe volunteers, to help make the productions better, who might be better familiar with Final Cut Express, who can do more advanced video special effects, and also live type. If we can get someone like this, that would be fantastic. Okay. What about you and having a relationship with, say, Patty? Some people have asked me about that. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. There's a lot of reasons why. One of the first one is that Patty has her own little projects, and they're not necessarily totally compatible with mine. So we have talked about sharing a house together, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We're very different people. Are you ready and looking forward to the interview with R11H30 in the upcoming weeks? Yes, I am. You realize he's got about 18 plus pages of questions. Yes, I do. Okay. Next thing is, do you ever plan to get cable TV or a satellite dish again? Yes, I would like to. get another satellite dish program from Dish Network. But I think the problem is as we already know, is economics is definitely a question. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford to get one. Right. Do you think that there's anything that you wish people really understood about you? Yeah, I kind of wish people realized that I am a person who's trying to play a straight game. I am making a lot of efforts to be honest with my audience and get to know who they are, and I want them to get to know me as well as they can. I mean, sure, to be not necessarily be able to take in all the information because there's so much content, but I want them to know that I'm being factual and that I'm reaching out to them because I believe that the truth will set you free. Okay. My turn to ask you some questions. Okay. How do you feel about living with me? I've been with Michele now since December, actually January of, wait. Actually, I've lived with Michele since February, I think it was February of 2010. Not so much as a couple because we weren't married until Beltane of 2011, but more like a kind of a very close dating situation. I've seen Michele in all kinds of states, and I find her absolutely positively to be amazing. Because she's smart, she's articulate, she has a brain, she's not dumb. Even though some people might think she is. I don't know, maybe it's the blonde hair. No, it's not the hair. It's the fact that you have Asperger's autistic spectrum, and people think that you're stupid. That you're not stupid. Michele can do a lot of smart things. She loves working around with technology and playing with gizmos. She would have the kind of channel be more like photo introduction. Oh my god. Yeah, right. Well, today we're going to put 220 volts AC into a 12 volt DC window fan. That wouldn't last long. Nope. Definitely be letting out the magic smoke. Right. Alright, so the point is that Michele's not dumb. She's actually very smart and enjoys, pushing boundaries. And I think that's what makes her wonderful, is because she's willing to try new things. How do you feel we have come since 2000 and, well, how far back should we go? Alright, how about since, we'll start, everybody talks about 2010. Let's go with 2010. How much do you think we've gotten? As far as my improvement and the way I do things. I think you made some pretty big strides. You're definitely highly talented. You're starting to develop social cues. It's taking you longer because you're legally blind and you have hearing loss, but you're starting to pick up on those cues. And I think that is something that's been a real important thing, because people used to think you were a buffoon on YouTube, and no, Michele doesn't play an act to be like that. No, I'm not an act at all. You're right. I think a lot of people, R11H30 said that last night on his channel. But I think, what about other things? I mean, I think Michele is, we're gonna wrap this up because this is running a lot longer than I wanted to go. But okay, let's wrap this up real quick. I think Michele is doing many great things on her channel, and I want to see Michele continue to make those positive strides to promote awareness for people with Asperger's / autistic spectrum. But Michele, is got skills, and she also shows that yes, you can be legally blind and you can still do things. You don't have to be sitting around and reading books in Braille and being unhappy. You can be doing things. You just use what resources you have to make them happen. Sunday nights will be the YouTube stream with Twitch at 7 p.m. Right. And Monday nights will be Discord only at 7 p.m. Right. And then on Wednesday will be Discord, YouTube, and Twitch. Correct. Okay. And that also starts at 7 p.m. And if anybody has any more questions about Michele, please don't be afraid to ask. I know Michele will answer them. Okay. Alright. So, guys, we'll talk to you later. Okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.